coming up on the Sunday roast, I step in for Jeff. He's on his way to Italy. So we started last night, Geelong North. Jez kicked 11. We're counting down to 100. And then we go all the way back to Thursday, unfortunately. Doc said goodbye. And then we sort of finished with the last two games. Sunday, Collingwood, Richmond, Melbourne, St Kilda. And it overlaps.
Oh, Morgs, it's absolutely doggies. The game has never been in a worse spot. It's never been a worse... Teams are just blowing teams out, even good matchups. I can't believe it. As I said, Doc's last game almost brought a tear to my eye. Morgs, it's a good roast. It's good to have you on. You guys know where to find us at 100K Sports. Like and subscribe. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. We're here for the haul. We're here for finals. We're gearing up. We're ready to go. Let's go, Morgs.
Play the intro, me. And now, 100K Sports and PointsBet presents the Sunday Roast. Thanks, me. Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers, the show that gives you all the best bets or the odds of the bets that you weren't on but wish you were. I am obviously Morgs, filling in for Jeff, who's eating a pizza right now. Dob Thomas, Dove, welcome to the Sunday Roast.
What an intro. It's harder than what it looks like. It's an absolute tongue twister. I can't believe Jeff has to do it every week. Now, Morgs, thank you for filling in. The captain of the ship. He does that much work behind the scenes, but yet he's still stepping up to make sure that the Sunday Roast gets out there. Now, I just want to put this on the agenda first, Morgs. I've been saying it the last few weeks. The game has never been worse to watch. It has never been worse. Like, sometimes on paper, like even this week, there should be some good matches. They've been absolutely dog shit. So the average winning margin this week, Morgs, so far... So by the time we're recording this, we haven't done the Sunday games, of course. The average winning margin has been 67 points.
Atrocious. On
average, 10 goals. The best game of the round so far this round was the Giants and the Swans, and the margin was 44 points. The only reason why it was good was because the Giants were down by 35. Like, the AFL has been, like, as a spectacle, has been in a bad spot this year. And I said it a few weeks ago, and I wasn't meaning to, like, I still love footy. We all love footy. That's why we watch every game. But last couple of years, like Collingwood was in a nail biter every single week. The big matchups actually meant something. Like we look at, we'll obviously touch on it, Gold Coast and the Lions. So we're like, awesome, this will be a great Q clash. It was a fucking blowout. Like every single time there's been big blowouts. Like Adelaide, Gold Coast last week, we're like, awesome, this is going to be a good matchup. It's another blowout. It's just, these teams aren't matching up well against each other, and it's really disappointing. I mean, we'll get into it. Morgs, obviously we're going to change, you said we're going to change up the order a bit today. We're not going to go top to bottom. I think we're going to start on something that's a bit more relevant. But this year's footy has been subpar. I'm hoping it's gearing up, and then every single one of the finals games are fucking electric. That's what I'm hoping. But at the moment, it's not the best to watch, is it?
I actually couldn't rate that anymore, and I was just trying to think who said it. I think it was Mike Sheehan. He had 2 weeks back on the couch because he was filling in as the boys were away, I think, for a week or two. But he's like, the new like stand on the mark rule, what opened up the game earlier on, the 666, they've done all these things, and he's like, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. And then you jump on the back of it, sort of merges the two takes together. But Kingy's really big at the moment on the haves and the have-nots. And he says it's the EPL now. So the bottom 8 have never been worse. And then the top 8 are so much better than that bottom 8. Yeah. So I think on the back of your point, though, which I think is a ripping one because you're dead right, there just isn't enough games you look forward to. Like, you should look forward to them, but you know that they're not going to be that good. I've lost my train of thought. What was the... Oh, no, yes. But I think you're right. It's going to make for a great final series.
I hope so.
And I think that's what it is because the top 8... So I did a post yesterday for PointsBet. Right now, after all the favourites won last night, right now, elimination final 1 is Hawks Suns at the G.
It's good.
Awesome. So that's all you can ask for. And they're probably going to finish 7th. So, I mean, that's better than a lot of elimination finals that I can think of.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I would still love Dogs, Hawks, and we'll get into the Dogs, but they literally might not make the finals. They'll be the best 9th team to not make the finals. I was looking at it just before. Morgs, so from 9th down to fucking 18th, whatever it is, their percentage, so the Dogs' percentage is 133, which is 4th best in the AFL. The next best in that bottom bit is the Swans at 93.
That's insane.
There is a clear 9 teams, and then the other teams are just absolute doggies. Like, they're not going to get anywhere near it. Like, absolute line through them. And the remainder of the year, it's going to be really interesting to see what people, like, load manage, whether they tank. But some teams still need to try and make the 8 or top 4. So there is a bit of interest in those top sides. But The rest of them, Morgs, there could be some big blowouts and there could be some players going in for some early surgery.
And I was thinking last night as well, I've always been big on this mid-season trade period because I think it quickens the rebuild. So say you've got your top 4 or 5 teams and say a team like, I don't know, Brisbane, they want one more forward. So they go to a lower side and they're like, righto, well, we don't want this year's first. Like, we want to win a flag now. We'll give you the first. And maybe a couple of teams might panic, but at least North go, geez, we did well to get rid of, whoever that player is, and we've picked up a pick, and it speeds it up a bit, whereas we wait the whole year. Like, North at the moment, they're going to play another month of footy, and that is just going to be so hard for them, so hard for the fans, so hard for not fans that have to watch the games. Like, let's speed it up a little bit.
Well, let's get into that game. So let's start off with North and Geelong. Morgs, this is at Marvel Stadium. Do you like Marvel? Do you think there's good games at Marvel? What do you think about this one?
Yeah, you're picking up on a take that I said off camera. Good games don't happen at Marvel. They don't happen. I asked you when the last good game was, and we talked about the Saints-Cats game and the sold-out Marvel, and I just think of Michael Gardner for some reason. I don't know. He must have had a hell of a game. I don't know why I think of him. And then you brought up, like, James Hurd against West Coast. Like, it's 20 years ago. And then we brought up a couple of fourth quarters, like we're Carlton, man. So Carlton's and Kilda a couple of years ago when we lost. Carlton GWS, we lost. You brought up a Dogs Richmond game. Oh, no, Dogs West Coast game.
Yeah.
Great fourth quarters. But as a general product, when is the last ripping Marvel game or stretch of Marvel games? And I think we need to talk about it this week on the pod. On Tuesday night, I want you to bring to me your top 3 Marvel games of all time. Oh, sorry, not of all time. Last 10 years.
All right. I've actually got another one off the top of my head. When Brisbane were down 0-3 and Zach Bailey kicked the goal after the siren.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That was a good game. Good call.
Is it fair to say, though, it needed a comeback, though?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I'll have to go back and watch the tape.
Yeah, have a look. And let us know in the comments. Let us know. We're going to chat about it on Tuesday night. Going to be a bit of a different pod, Das. We're going to be hanging out a hell of a lot over the next month, whichever way. So we're going to change up the show a bit. So let us know. What are your best ever games at Marvel? But Das, we should get to it. This will be the longest Sunday roast in history if we don't. North Geelong, this was a bloodbath. If Dogs Bombers wasn't a big enough bloodbath for you, Jez Cameron kicked 11 snags and goes to 69 on the count. 69. We have been big on this. Jev said he's going to kick 1,000, which he's looking good right now. But if you look towards, we posted it yesterday, he's going to kick 100 goals this year. He's going to do it. I think it's either going to be a prelim or a grand final. And as we and Cheats from Type Media said, we're just running on the field grand final day. It's never happened before. It's going to be the best day of our lives.
So I think the last person to kick 100 in a final, I think, was Fraser Garrick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was against Port Adelaide. So the Saints were up. They kicked 100. And then momentum swung the other way. And then Port ended up going back and then winning the... It might have been 2004. It might have been the year that they won the flag. May have been. I'm sure someone will correct me on it, but that's just off the top of my head. But it was definitely in a final. Can you imagine on grand final day if Jez is on like 96 and it's just like, fuck, he kicks too early? Imagine a fourth quarter.
Right.
All right, so let's think about that. So grand final, Collingwood, Geelong, just for example, and there's 4 points in it. There's 5 minutes to go in the game. Jez kicks his 100th and everyone runs on the field. And then you've just got this whole like half an hour, 20 minutes trying to get players back off the ground. Sorry, spectators back off the ground and just... hush over like that. That would be the greatest like grand final moment in history.
So if you're following us, you might have noticed like our content for the last week or two is just centered around Jez kicking 100. And it's because I can't stop thinking about it. Like I'm obsessed with the idea. I know someone's kicked 100 before, but to do it on a prelim or grand final day. And I keep thinking about, so I had a joke with Type yesterday, like Eddie Maguire will finally get his twilight finishing grand final because it'll take 45 minutes to get everyone off the field. Then it'll start to get dark and it's like, okay, this is what a night grand final looks like because it won't finish till 6 o'clock. Jack Rewalt would have been seen with the Killers at midnight if that happened on that day. There's going to be people outside the G. So, like that loop around. There's going to be people waiting for him to kick 100, and then they're going to jump the gates. And, like, there could be 300,000 people in the G if he kicks 100 on grand final day. So, I just can't stop thinking about it. So, we're going to count down. So, very quickly, because we can't stop thinking about Jez. So, next week, he's got Port at home. So, I think that's a lock for 5. I think 5's fair.
Okay, yeah.
The next week, though, they play the Bombers at home. He could kick 15.
We have to go.
We have to go. We just have to start counting down to 100. So he's on 69 now. So if you go by my math, he's on 74 going into Essendon at home.
Okay. And then we've got a million bits of cardboard here. So
we have to start counting down and be there.
Yeah, we have to start watching this greatness and just every home game that we can get to, every final.
I have no idea why it excites me so much, but I just enjoyed so much watching him kick 11 last night. It was just the best. All right, let's get into it. So we talked about bloodbath. Geelong 150-49. Das, do you want to celebrate the Cats or roast the Roos?
I would say the Cats, the Cat. Let's go with North. Like North are another 101 point loss. Like, when is it going to turn? As you said, like the mid-year draft. And it's so frustrating as an AFL supporter where it's like, oh, it's going to be another 4 or 5 years. Another 4 or 5 years, there should be another ability to be able to go get players that you need or sell off what you've got to get high-end draft picks so we can make that reboot a lot quicker. But this is a team that absolutely checked out. Like, for him to kick his 10th, start of the 4th, the ball went down to centre-half back. Sam DeConing got it. It went end-to-end, and obviously they're only going to kick it to one man. And they've just put Toby Pink one out, bare in the square. I can't wait for Kingy to touch on because he had a big run the last few weeks about Toby Pink, my man. Toby Pink has been buried the last month. He's been absolutely buried, old Toby Brown. So this has just been one of those games, like, what are they going to do, North? So they get a few of these older guys in. I know Luke Parker played well, but he's only got another year or two. I don't mind Jev's Taker, like, go get a lever. Actually, go get someone that can actually hold up in the back line, but the Cats, they were just looking for him all night, weren't they? Bailey Smith got back to his 43. I still don't think, I keep going up and down whether I still think he can win the Brownlow. I think he gets so many votes early. He probably gets, 2 last night or maybe 1?
Yep.
With his 43 touches.
Yeah, definitely.
The Cats are just humming. They're just humming at the moment.
I don't know if you saw Daisy Thomas, our man on Triple M. He goes, I want Jez to kick 10, I want 55 from Bailey Smith, and I want 35 from Max Holmes, whatever he said. And he wasn't actually far off.
Yeah.
You're right about Jet. Some, like, 4 of his goals were Joe the Gooses, and he had the 50 to himself. Your man Jay-Z Clark was grilling him last night. They started Charlie Comben up forward and says that was just an abomination, and then left Toby Pink down back. But yeah, I agree. I think Kingy last night, he wanted to go at Alistair Clarkson, but I think he was trying to be respectful. But he was just saying, like, what is it? What is their game plan? What are they trying to achieve? And if Kingy can't see it, I can't see it. So I don't know what the answer is. Let us, North fans, tell us, like, bleed in the comments for us, because I don't know what the answer is. And yes, they need some senior players, but you can't just keep getting Luke Parkers and Jack Darlings, can you? I mean, there has to be another answer, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's going to be paying for a few more years. But let's go through Morgs. 101 points. It's an absolute flogging in the AFL. Like, it's a flogging. So Jez kicked 11. The best we could get for him, points bet, of course, was $23. And for 20 touches, it was $4.75, which is awesome. Shannon Neal, he's playing the second fiddle pretty well. He's starting to come into his own. So for 4 snags, $5.25. Zerha kicked 3 at $4.75. Tyson Stengel kicked 2 at $1.83. Pretty short. Your man, Paul Curtis, for 2 at $2. Bailey Smith had 43. You can only get him for 40. So that was at $14. Colby McKercher for 30 at $2.10. And Luke Parker had 31. So for 30, he was $5.25. That was the best of those bets, Morgs.
Yeah, it was just a fill your boots game for the Cats, but I don't know where to. I think, and then like Danger had a kebab. He had a kebab by the end, sort of like halfway through the 4th. He'd finished a super on the bench. That just goes to show where the Cats are. I think they were up by like 40 points. Chris Scott threw his coffee or something. Like, they are just better than most teams, and I think they knew they had the ruse sorted.
They were just far too good, and it's like they just beat up. That's one thing that Geelong are really good. They put bad teams to the sword.
100%.
They always do it. It's like, you know, if they're going to verse a Richmond, an Essendon, a North Melbourne, a West Coast over the last few years, they pants them very convincingly. So, yeah, huge win for the Cats. I wish I went for a team like the Cats.
Oh, so do I.
Wish we just won a lot.
So do I. They're a bit like another team that is a good segue, and that's like a good team to go for, and that's the Crows, I reckon. Yeah. So let's get into it. It was a showdown, Crows Port. It was raining Crows and Port last night. It was raining absolutely sideways. But the Crows just turned it on. The Port kept it a little bit close, but 133 to 35 in the end. So basically 100 points. So another shellacking, as you said. But yeah, I saw a tweet from Tom Morris talking about 2 years ago, the Crows were on the bottom of the ladder with North. And I think North beat the Crows, and it was like, okay, this was the start of, you know, the rebuild, and the Crows, you sort of forget how bad the Crows were there for that 2 or 3 years stretch. And then now the Crows are top of the ladder as we stand today. Obviously, we haven't started the 110 game, and North still suck. But You want to celebrate the Crows? Roast Port, or are we done roasting Port?
No, we'll roast Port a little bit.
Yeah, it's fair.
Absolutely weak as piss. It's Ken's last showdown. You come in, you're about a goal in a quarter time. And then the fact that you go get these, like Zerk Thatcher, like you go get these other tall key pillars and you try and bolster down on your defence. I know Rosie came in. The Butters is there trying to have a crack. It was pissing down like torrential. Yep. And the fact that Adelaide was still able to put on 133 points is just, that is a team, A, it just doesn't want it, and two, the second of the footy all night. Adelaide just have too many runners, too many guys that actually want to get the ball. Zach Dawson, I think Rashudo mentioned it on the coverage. It's like, have you ever seen a better big three that are so good on their opposite foot? Yep. Thilthorpe can kick, Tex can kick, Fogarty can kick. That goal from Thilthorpe was awesome, how he got it up the ground, went to give the handball, shook it, got on the left foot and kicked the goal from 50. Like, Tex can kick unbelievably on his left foot all night. Jordan Dawson's the perfect captain for this side. Yep. Ben Keys is just the most awkward player to play on in the AFL. Again, he kicked 3 goals, 4. So you've got all the big firepower. You've got Rankin to look after. You've got Jordan Dawson if he pushes down there. And then you've just got Ben Keys that's just going to pop up for 7 shots on goal. Like, they're a nightmare. I know that people said that me and Jev were down on them, especially when we did our pre-season preview. But them over the last few years, their percentage has always been pretty good. Like, they've always been able to put points on the board. And they would always, like, even games like they'd verse the Bombers at Marvel, and both teams would have a shootout and they'd score about 120 points apiece. Like, they can score. So now that they've locked up their back line a little bit more. Wayne Miller, now he's been able to play the full year. Max Michaelani, all these other guys, I really hope they make a deep run in finals because they're going to be such a good team to watch. Even if they're behind, you want a team that can open the shackles and if they have to kick 8 goals in a quarter, which is exactly what they can do. So, yeah, they were awesome. Saligo had his best game for the club. 2 goals, 35 touches in the wet. Depends on how you want to see it. I thought they were going to lean towards him maybe for the medal over Thilthorpe, but hey, I mean, kicking 3 goals is a big, I think, just showing how more dynamic he is and can actually get up the ground and actually move a little bit more rather than just your stay at home bear in the square. So, yeah, very impressed by Adelaide, and Port Adelaide, just thought they were going to show just a touch more.
Yeah, I mean, we get called out a lot for sucking Kingy off, but I just think it goes to show how right he was. Just announce Kenny's last game in round 9 or something. Give him a month, still give him that month, and just say round 9, Kenny, we're going to hand it up and get the process. Because now, what a waste of a year for Port. There just isn't I feel like it's 10 years behind. There isn't time anymore to just waste a whole year. What have they got out of this year?
Yeah,
you could argue nothing. At least Carr can have a look and the fans can have a look at what to expect, and then you start the excitement before the year's even finished for the following year. But now you're literally just wasting the year. But I agree, they have to finish it out with Kenny now. They've gone this far, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. At least get a look at what next year potentially will look like. And even just for some free agents or whatever, if you are going up, it's hey, this is the game style that we want to play. Imagine Carr at the helm. You take a few scalps and you're oh, they're actually playing an exciting brand. Surely that does something for recruitment. And Ken have a bit of time off, especially if he has been spoke about as he still does want to coach. Then he can go just do the dimmer. He can go freshen up, chill out, and then come back and then try and get a new job. But the Crows are going to be awesome to watch in the finals. More some of the odds. Ben Keys kicked 3 goals, so for 3 was 420. Riley Thilthorpe. Huh?
3 goals, 4 he kicked.
3 goals, 4 was fucked. He should
he's a bit of a mudlark, isn't he? He loves the wet.
Yeah, 100%. He'd be impossible to play on. He's just so tough.
Like Jev on the golf course. He just smacks it up there in the wet.
Fucking oath. Yes, he does, old Debbie boy. He creeps up on the greens. Riley Thilthorpe for 3 at $2.55. Tex for 3 at $4.75. Jake Saligo for 2 was $11. Jed McEntee, Morgs, your man, for 2 goals was $5. Sam Berry for 2 was $20. Saligo for 35. He couldn't get him for 30. He couldn't get him for 35, but for 30 was $19. And also Zach Butters for 30 was $2.15. This is the Stat Mate Leg of the Week. He's had 30 plus in each of his last 4 showdowns. So Stat Mate giving out some winners once again, Morgs.
They've done it again. And he's another one that I wanted to mention. He's a perfect example of, obviously, we think he might stay. Miles Bergman, he's staying, obviously. But for Carr, show your own players as well what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you're umming and ahhing whether you want to stay at Port, you've got no idea what next year's going to be like. I mean, I know he's assistant coach, but he's still going to have a different game plan. So anyway, that's enough of Port. Let us know in the comments. Should they have moved on from Kenny earlier in the year, or should they have stayed and you rate it? I don't know. 100%. And then there's also a fan that in the comments below, he's awesome, but he's always saying how you blokes shit can the Crows and now you love them. So, Darth, I just wanted to quickly ask, can you see them winning the flag?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah. 100%.
I think that's the only answer right now.
You?
Absolutely. Yep. I think flag similar to Brownlow. I still think it's anyone within reason, but I think it's anyone's. Yeah, I truly do.
All the teams are going to want to have to stay healthy until they get to the top 8. Like, if the Hawks are going to have to win it, they're going to have to get like Weddle back. Nice to got like Day back, but all the teams you're going to have your best pieces firing. I think to come in through the game, which is exactly segues us into this game. So Freo West Coast, Freo get it done, Morgs, in another derby. I think we all assumed that they were going to get this done. Yep. So I'm going to release a list on Tuesday, Morgs. Okay. Let's come up with a list each. It's X Factor players or the players that you can't judge a team on when they're not in the side. So I always said Will Day, Morgs.
Yep.
Will Day, and I didn't believe it. So they were zipping 5 last year. He comes back in the side, they make finals. He plays the first 3 games this year. He's essentially Brownlow favourite. The Hawks are premiership favourite. They look like a completely different side. We've forgotten about Hayden Young. Yep. So he came in as the sub last week. Against the Pies, they're down. I couldn't believe that they left him on as the sub for that long. Pretty much played a quarter, have 11 touches, was piecing up the forward line, giving absolute through balls. Anyway, Freo end up going on to win the game. So essentially, he only plays 3 quarters, wins the medal for best on, the Ross Glendenning, Allendale fucking... whatever the fuck it's called. There's a million names to it. Wins the fucking medal for best on.
The Max Marklani Award.
In 3 quarters of footer. 3 quarters of footy. So essentially, he could have been eating a Suva on the bench as well, Morgs. Yep. So he had the 3 goals, 23 touches, and this is what he was doing before he got injured last year. He was able to go forward and just kick the goals. So Sarong and Brayshaw don't do that as much. So he definitely doesn't win as much of the footy as those two, but he's so much more damaging with what he does. So him back in the side, and that's why I think we rated Freo so high at the start of the season, and there's still such a young list. And then the fact that Pat Voss was still able to kick a few goals. Jai Miss was finally coming on kicking a few goals. Like, they look like a dangerous side when they're like this. So I'm actually very much excited to see them going forward. They were the one that I said that wasn't going to make finals a few weeks ago. With Hayden Young back and with all the confidence in their forwards now, I'm starting to think that the top 8 is set. I think the Dogs have just missed their mark and they just can't do enough from here on out to make the finals. But yeah, it was another great win by Freo. Harley Reid, who knows, his season might be done. Depends on how bad his ankle is. But yeah, this is just a great win by Freo once again. And they've got the wood over the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, it's a great call. And it sort of adds to the frustration about when they don't play as well as they can. Like, they've got so many match winners in there, as you talked about. And then that, probably, I don't know, Sarong, Brayshaw, like, they're so consistent. So maybe you don't give them the credit as match winners. But like, yeah, Michael Frederick could just kick 4 on prelim day. Tell me he couldn't.
100% good.
Murphy Reid could just pop up and kick 3 on prelim day.
Yeah.
As you said, like, there's so many. Pat Voss just kicked 6 on the G or whatever he kicked. So I think it's a great call. We just want to see them. If they're at their best, they're so exciting to watch.
I'm just trying to look up now for the Rising Star, seeing if that's changed at all. Murphy Reid.
Yeah.
Every time you think that he's going to be out of the award, he just comes back into it and has another big game. Yeah, so he's 3rd favourite. So Dan Curtin's into $1.50, Morgs, your man. Levi Ashcroft at $3.75 and Murphy Reid is at $11.
Wow. Yeah.
I still think it's now a good time to buy on Murphy Reid. Like $1.50, not going to touch that. Free's still got a few more games. If Murphy Reid can cement them a final spot and play really well, $11 is not a bad buy. Archie Roberts at 15 for the Bombers is next. So it's out of the top 3. But yeah, I actually wouldn't mind having a slice of Murphy Reid. Archie might get on that right now.
I feel like I say this every time. I feel like Rising Star is the classic one to take sort of like 3rd favourite to 6th favourite at round 1 and then watch them all creep up and then watch someone fade out. And then either way, you're just walking away with cash.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's so hard. That's why we said Sam Layla at the start of the year. I mean, look, who knows? He might have won if he stayed healthy. But I just thought that the cattle wasn't around him enough to allow him to win that award because they were going to lose so many games. And that's why we said, like, Levi Ashcroft is pretty much getting dropped into one of the best sides. And if you look at the other two favourites, Dan Curtin's on the side that are on top of the ladder at the moment, and Murphy Reed's on a side that's potentially about to play finals. So you get these guys, if you get dropped into a good team, you look back at, in history, you look at Joel Selwood, he gets dropped into the 2007 Geelong side, which is unbelievable. The next year, you got Silrioli, gets dropped into the 2008 Hawthorn side. So it definitely helps where you go when winning these awards and the development of how you play. So it's a bit of luck. You almost don't want to be the number one pick.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like they say in NFL all the time. It's like you actually don't want to go to the worst franchise. Like you almost want to be like 6 to 12. So you still get a high pay packet, but you're in a team which is a potentially win now, and you can have a better performance on each day. But West Coast again, Morgs, what are they going to finish the year with? Like, how many wins? They're on one win.
Yeah, and probably one win. Locked up.
They're on one win.
First pick. Like, I think they are playing the kids, but play the kids, or I don't even know. Like, what are in the 2s and the 3s? Like, is it maybe they've played all the kids? Like, play the dads? I don't know. Are they like too old?
Honestly,
I don't know.
You know who would get a game for West Coast right now? David Neitz. He hasn't played a game in 17 years. I think he would roll out and walk into that side.
I want to go with a T-shirt. Play the dads.
You know who else would get a game in that side? Like Matt Prittis.
Yeah,
he would get a game right now.
He'd still be
get a game. Schofield, after his goal on the weekend, might get a game down the back.
That snag was so good.
It was so good.
Very quickly want to touch. So I've teased a couple of things coming up. As we said, we're changing up the pot a bit. We had a bloke send us in. We want to talk a bit more futures. So we want to hear from people. If you can start sending in your best futures bets that are alive. Okay, so it might be Rising Star, might be Flag. I think he in particular had Brownlow into Flag, which we love. Dust, you've got the best bet I've ever heard of, which was Donald Trump at $1.66 into Nick Brownlow. And that's one of the best futures. So I'm calling it the futures furnace. So we're going to get hot on Tuesday night and talk some futures. I've also teased us in the next 2 weeks, we're going to work out a system. Jev and I did it for the Super Bowl, where you put 5 bets on premiership futures this year. And either way, we walk out with cash.
Nice.
And I've called this segment, we're winning cash regardless. So,
okay, that's a good segment.
Yeah, I need you to have a think about that. And if you want to let us know in the comments again, we want your feedback. Like, how do we walk away with cash regardless in the end of September? That's just
some odds in this one, Morgs. Michael Frederick for 4 was $15. Jai Miss for 3 was at $4. Pat Voss for 3 was at $2.90. Hayden Young for 3 won the medal at $12. Jamie Cripps for 2, the professional forward, was $3.70. Harley Reid for 2 at $6.50. Liam Baker for 2 was $9. Tim Kelly for 2 at $9.50. Andrew Brayshaw had 32, but for 30 was $2. Tim Kelly for 25 was 13. So Tim Kelly was $13 for 25, and it was $9.50 for 2. You could have made an absolute meal out of the Tim Kelly sweepstakes. Shy Bolton for 25 was $9, and Murphy Reed for 20 was $5.25 as well, Lewis. But Hayden Young is the key going forward. Hopefully they keep him fit and healthy, because he has like big time. He's got Norm Smith written all over him. Like that's what he is. So
I love that from you. And just out of curiosity, did you say Pav Voss on purpose?
No, I said Pat Voss, but maybe I said Pat Voss.
There's something there for big Pav Voss.
Pat Voss. I said Pat Voss deliberately.
Coasters, play the dads. Moving in, obviously we're going backwards. Q Clash, Das. Gold Coast. Alistair Lynch said it best, I thought. The win against Collingwood Friday night was probably the Suns' biggest win ever. This one probably isn't that far behind it, though. So big Q Clash 29, would you believe? Suns won by 66 points, 130 to 64. They kicked 20 goals, 10. I reckon a lot of those, I don't have it off the top of my head, but a lot of those behinds came late. Their kicking was unbelievable. They were kicking them from absolutely everywhere. Our man Bailey Humphrey, that snapper over his shoulder. He's someone we need to speak to a little bit more, Dar. So we might need to get him on the pod soon. I'm not sure.
We might need to. You know what? Yeah, he kicked that long bomb from like 55, but then when he kicked his third, he just picked it up. Awesome. Didn't even look at the goal, snap over the shoulder, but there was no celebration.
Nah.
He just looked stone cold at the boys and just like a bit of a dap up. I really love where his head's at the moment. But yeah, let's get into it. So
Please.
The Suns win 130 to 64. Again, we thought it was going to be a good matchup. It's almost like the teams when they're in a good position. It's like if they find themselves out of it too much, they just put the cue in the rack. It's like, all right, fuck it. Let's just... We're not going to win this 4 points. Let's not absolutely try and kill ourselves to try and get back in this one. But Noah Anderson had 2 and 25 practically at halftime. Matt Rowell has come out the start of the third quarter and he had 4 centre clearances in a row, 2 running away and then 2 free kicks from being held and then ran forward. I've watched most of their games this year and I absolutely love Noah Anderson and I would love for him to win the Brownlow. So he's currently third favourite at $7. Matt Rowell is, I think, 6th at 17. I won't be surprised if Matt Rowell has more votes than Noah Anderson.
You have said this.
Yeah, but I just want to put it on the map again. I genuinely would not be surprised. And I think that, yes, you don't think of him so much as a Brownlow because some of his down games are so down. Like he has like 12 touches and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
But I really think, and that's why I feel the Brownlow, as I mentioned with Bont the other week, should have, you can't cap someone's performance on only 3 votes.
Yep.
Like his fantasy ranking points, as again, I don't know how to do it, is 145. Like he might get a 3-vote game and he's the best with 110. Like we have to allow the peak to go up. Like he had 37 touches. What do you have? 14. How many clearances did he fucking have? He had like 14 clearances. I think 23 were contested in the wet.
15 clearances.
15 clearances. 23 contested. He was just an absolute bull. He just goes to a different level when it's in the wet. He looked like he was the only one that wanted it. So Dunkley, as me and Jeff have been saying on the roast the last few weeks, you should be honoured when he comes to you. And he's had the number of Matt Rowell probably the last 3 or 4. And he's gone up to him. He's gone, here, I'm about to bless you today. Matt Rowell said, not today, sir. Not today. These are my conditions. This is my jungle. And he just went to fucking work. But as you said, they couldn't miss. Everyone went forward. Long was kicking him out his ass. Answorth was kicking him out of his ass. Like it was just a great game if you're a Suns fan. Again, it was a bit of a blowout and it was a bit boring, but I'm very excited to see the step back. As you said, the game against Collingwood, awesome win. Very much a letdown against the Crows. They just forgot how to play the first half. And then they come up against Brisbane. You're like, fuck, these are 3 big games in a row.
Yep.
And then they've come out and they've beaten the reigning premiers. So this is a great game. I'm not sure really what to take out of the Lions. I still think they're my premiership favourite. I still think when the whips are cracking, they're just going to get it all together. But this is awesome for the Suns.
It was, this might be, I don't know, maybe the worst take in Sunday Roast history, but I just love that the good kicking is good football. And it just showed it yesterday. And the game's becoming a little bit like basketball. Like you look at the 2-for-1s, deep 3, miss, go the other end, shoot, it's a 6-point swing. And it happened in yesterday because they kick so well. Obviously, so much score from turnover in today's game. When you go down the other end, you're just potting them from absolutely everywhere. You just would have been demoralising for a line. You know what I mean? Like if I only kick half those goals, then Brisbane probably get it back and you got a closer game. But they just put it to bed, and it was fucking impressive. Good on them.
It's a great way to put it. Yeah, it was like one of those games. It's like in the NBA, everyone can shoot threes, but if they get hot, it's just like. Yeah, the Suns were hot. It's like, fuck, we can't even get our hands on it. Like, everything they're touching is just going straight through. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it was like. Like, the ball was coming in. You had Starcevic, it's a great defender. You had Jasper Fletcher. They were just caught off their man. A ball would come out the back, and they're just like, the fuck is going on? Like, we just couldn't stop anything. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But impressive. Do you think that, I said it a few weeks ago, Morgs, I declared them. I said they're 100% making the 8.
Yeah, you did.
Are they not only making the 8, are they going to win a final?
I know this is a horrible answer, but I honestly don't think it matters in a way that I know that's a horrible answer. But as I said, if the elimination final is Hawks Gold Coast, like I could easily envisage them just coming down to Melbourne and just rolling the Hawks. But I'll be honest, I could also see them shitting the bed. Mm-hmm. So I just think if they just play well against the Hawks, that is a successful season. And if they get done by a goal, it's like that's the maturity they've shown. They'll learn from the loss. So I don't know. If you want my answer, I'm going to go with no. I reckon they lose it just in the first final, but that's not a knock. So do you think they win a final?
Oh, I think they can. Yeah.
They definitely can.
I really think they can. And I can't the fast track, what that does to a team. Like if they miss finals this year, it's the more pressure again and again. But if they then make the final and then pinch a final, coming into the following season, can you imagine the belief in the group? It's like, all right, we were close. We were there. We're 2 games off actually making a grand final. And it just goes to show the depth. So Dimmer Hardwick came out on the weekend and said how tough it was. I think he said it was his toughest drop of all time to drop Jed Walter. Just told him his game wasn't there. And then it looks like that they've just gone around and just picked up a bloke off the streets, Morgs. You've never heard of him before. Jai Farah, he came out and kicked 3, and he was stoked to be out there.
Yeah.
Like, he was so excited. He kicked a forward 50 stoppage that Levi Ashcroft was on him. The ball came straight to him. Jared Witts, by the way, he's just playing some champagne football.
He loves it.
He got it, took a step out, snapped it on his right, and just pushed the young fella and said, get the fuck out of here. I'm playing AFL football right now. How good's this? So it makes me think, if Charlie Curnow does eventually want to go up north,
here we go.
What are some trades you do from guys? Like, who says no? I know. So if you've got Jed Walter, and I said the other day, but when they're winning, it's hard to say yes to this. But when they're losing, you might see it a different way. I said Jed Walter and Bailey Humphrey to Carlton for Charlie Curnow. Who says no?
I still think Carlton.
You think Carlton say no?
Definitely.
So you've only got a few more years left of Charlie. Like, if you can somehow get Harry back into some shape, you've got a young top 4 pick in Jed Walter. You've got Bailey Humphrey, who's a Victorian, coming back home, who will piece up, help our midfield a little bit more. You don't think we say yes?
Firstly, do you think we say yes to that?
I reckon we do.
So the only thing that I'm not sick of hearing it, but I just disagree with it because I keep seeing it a lot. Carlton itself only has a few years left. So, like, I don't think we're sacking Voss. That's just my personal belief.
I don't think we are.
This whole thing about, but you get 10 years. Like, don't worry about 10 years. Like, don't worry about it. Carlton itself, like, this Carlton has, like, 2 years max left.
Yeah.
And if they don't do something about it, then don't worry. As I said, don't worry about 10 years ago. We'll have, I think it's, who's the, Cooter's son, and then there's someone else's son. I know Walker, there's someone else coming into the side, but, like, it's 10 years away.
Peter Dean.
Yes, that's the one. I just don't think Harry Dean. Yeah, I just don't think we need to worry about 10 years ago. And I'm not, yes, maybe Bailey Humphrey and those boys, like, obviously, we should get him on the show, Das, by the way.
Yeah, we should get Bailey on the show.
Yes, they'll be here in 10 years. I just don't think we need to worry about 10 years. Like, we need to worry about the next 2 years. And Charlie Curnow can be still a top 3 full forward in the comp when he's firing. So I just don't think don't get me wrong, I'm all to trade offers. I'm not saying I definitely want to keep him, but for that one, I just think it's got to be not far from the farm.
Okay. I just think in my head as well, and now because we're so big into our American sport, if someone wants to go,
true.
Which is the biggest thing. So obviously Carlton are going to say, we don't want to get rid of him, but that just heightens up the bargaining price. It's like, if you want him, we're going to have to get some kickback here. So is it almost a win-win for the Suns? Like, if Jed's only coming out and kicking a few goals here and there, they've got a heap of other, like Jake Rogers can come into the midfield. And Bailey, look, let's be honest, Bailey's been a great player, but he's only really come out this year. Yep. Like, he's had a really big breakout year this year. He's shown flashes in the past. You add in Charlie, is that not instantly they're in premiership contention?
Oh, they'd be absolutely stoked, and that'd be like a sell high for them. They'd be like, Bailey Humphrey you see some comments on social media and whatever, like, his ceiling is so high. So they'd be
which could be great for the Blues.
Oh, I'd love it.
It could be great for the Blues with the young Jagger Smith, Hall of Famer who's never played a game.
Jed Walter, Bailey Humphrey, I'd take it tomorrow.
I do have some odds in this one.
This thing was a fucking cash pit. I could not believe this when I went through the odds. So touches first. Matty Rowd 37 for 35. He was 21, which I think that's a really generous price. Lockie Neal had 36. He was $8 for 35. Joel Jeffrey had 32 for 30. He was $29, which would have been unbelievable. Jimmy Noble, my man, the man raised on vodka and family, he had 31. A scrumptious $5.25. I think that was pretty generous as well. Big Brado Fiorini, he had 32. He was 19 for 30 plus.
He's a jet.
So just cash everywhere. And then Alex Davies had 30. Couldn't get him for 30, but for 25, he was 14. My man Skinfolds Ainsworth, he's cut like a diamond. He had 27. He was $29 for 25, which is so juicy, especially if I think he kicked 3 goals. Yeah, he did. $13. So $13 for 3, and then 27. Like that. Honestly, you could pay your mortgage with that. Will Power had 26, where he was $13 for 25, and then the snags. Our man Jai Farif, he was $13 for 3 snags. Cam Rayner kicked 3 at 7. I just mentioned Ainsworth 3 at $13. Bailey Humphrey, we need to get him on the podcast.
We need to get Bailey on the pod.
To speak to him. Just a one-on-one interview with you and him once a week would be awesome. He was $11 for 3 snags, and then Ben Long for 4 was $16. Jevs, man, he was one of those ones kicking them from absolutely everywhere with a wet rock.
By the way, people that say that red footy doesn't. So it was dark as outside yesterday in that game, and the red footy looked immaculate.
Not a problem.
It looked immaculate. By the way, Cam Rayner's last set shot, it was pretty much from outside 50. It was an absolute pure ball.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen that, like sometimes when someone kicks a ball, it just looks pure. Go watch that. It was about 3 minutes ago. Cam Rayner, just from 50, and you just see the macas on the side of the ball. It was
the maca
pure.
I got a very quick Galaxy brain take for you. We better move on.
Here we go.
I thought about you yesterday. They talk about the red cricket ball versus the white cricket ball. Because the red leather is real leather. The white one is like sort of like faux leather, and then it's painted white, so it doesn't hold up as well. I reckon red Sherrins hold up way better than yellow ones.
Yep.
You see them kicking that red wet footy yesterday. It still looked shiny, and so we'll have to. I'd love to have Bailey Humphrey on a pod. We could ask him whether he liked kicking a red footy or yellow footy. If we manage to get him on, we'll ask him that. Any other thoughts on the Q Clash?
No, it was the pineapple grapple. I just couldn't believe that they did it without Took like this.
Yeah, for sure.
I really couldn't believe it. So well done, great win.
Lynchy was right. I think that was equal their biggest win of the club.
Yeah.
So to Friday night, Das, it feels like a long time ago. We're going to start with Essendon Dogs because it's a dog's breakfast of a game. The Dogs, another 100-point drumming. Did they get to 100 points at the end? It was 143 to 50, so not quite.
93.
A respectful 90-odd point loss for the Bombers. Again, Das, I ask you the question, are we celebrating the Dogs or are we roasting the Dons?
Well, I think we'll roast them both a little bit. Have the Dogs left their run too late? Again, I mentioned, are they going to be the best team to miss the finals in the last 20 years? Like, they're loaded with talent. I think we all know that. I know their defense hasn't been holding up that well this year, but they've got the 4th best percentage in the AFL.
Yep,
which I just have to re-mention again. The second highest outside the 8. I said they're 132.6 and the Swans are 93. Like, that's the gap between 9th and the rest of the competition. Now, I swear the last 4 years or the last 4 games between the Dogs and the Dons has been identical. It's been on a primetime slot at Marvel. You flick it on and it's belt to ass. It's an ass kicking. Like every single time. It's just like I don't know what Brad Scott watches when he watches the tape of the previous 4 games, but just can we do something a little bit different? Can we lock down just a touch? So, and it's crazy that in this game, Bond would have 35 and 2, and he's not even the talking point.
Yep.
So you got the key 2 pillars at top. Norton kicked 7, Sam Darcy kicked 6. You, my man Morgs, Riley West kicked 3 goals, 3. And it's just, Jesus, looks like you put a red rinse through that.
Yeah, it's the light. It's coming along though.
It is redder than Satan's knob. So Aaron Norton at the start of the year, he was Jev's biggest myth. He was.
Yep.
And I'm sure if he has a quiet finals, Jev will say the same thing. He's an absolute myth. But for now, at the moment, we just thought with Darcy back in the side, like maybe put him to half back, but they're waxing on and off really well. He's almost like getting the shine off the ball. He's like getting, when Cole Shadir in the Hawk side, when Gunston's there. He sort of just he gets looked after a little bit. And I think we all agree, we don't like seeing Sam Darcy in the ruck so much, but he just fucking loves it. He's like, I want to get a few taps and then I'll go forward and then I'll hang 6 on your head. So, yeah, I think the Dogs missed the 8. So we'll touch on the next week's game after this, but it is a 8-point game next week against the Giants. It's an 8-point game.
That's wild.
It's like, this is an absolute must-win next week. But what do you think about the Dogs? Are they going to play finals, or do you just want to roast the Bombers?
No, I don't want to roast the Bombers. I think Norton's just realised he's worked out how to play that second fiddle. He's not even second; it's almost like 1.5 fiddle. Like, it must be hard playing with you got everyone talking about Darcy. The game plan probably revolves around him, and as a midfielder, you just couldn't help yourself but to kick it to him. So I do actually have some sympathy for Aaron Norton in terms of finding his role, and credit to him for now. He's just kicking snags lace out, but. No, I don't want to roast the Dons. I got nothing to say. It's, as we said about the Eagles, they play the dads. Like, what do you do if you're a Bomber? This is one of those ones, again, I think if there was a mid-season trade period, I don't know what they would have done, but at least it's like you start looking towards next year and then you use the second half of the year as that like almost a mini pre-season. Like have a look at these guys. They probably haven't had a chance to look at anyone because their injuries have been so bad. So again, I'm sympathetic for the club, fans, all of it, but I just think there probably could be more done to quicken up the rebuild for next year rather than just having such a lackluster second half of the year. Like, really, if you're them, what do you do? What do you do?
Trade Zach Merritt.
I kind of agree. We sort of talked. I put it up that post you and Jev last week, and a lot of people said he's already committed. That doesn't really mean anything, but I agree. A lot of people, even some Bombers fans in the comments, they were saying that love Zach Merritt, don't really want him to leave. But one, we want to see him get some success, and if you're going to get anything for him, it's going to be this year. So I agree. But then again, on the flip side of that, you look at North, they are just starving of players of leadership. So if you're the Bombers and you trade out Zach Merritt, what are you losing in that regard?
Yeah, maybe you can just get like an older player. Like you could find yourself a Parker for half the cost, and you can still get a couple of older heads. Say you get rid of him, maybe you get rid of Elijah Sardis, you get rid of because he hasn't come on as much unless you want to stick with him. You get rid of Nick Cox. You get a few of these other guys and then try and get one or two more picks back because it shows eventually if those picks didn't work out, like you look at Gold Coast, I know they've had the luxury of getting so many good ones in, but you've got Nate Caddy up forward. You've got a few other guys. Like I know Isaac Kako probably hasn't come on as much this year as a lot of people thought, but I don't know, just you're paying high end for a couple of guys down back like Laverde, Mackay, I just don't think, let Zach Merritt go. Let him go, honestly. But I just did want to touch on Ed Richards. So I said earlier, I think we said on the pod a few weeks ago, there's a few plays that I still think that can win it. I'm not sure about if Caleb Sarong can win the Brownlow. Tom Green probably left his run too late. Rowell, I definitely think. Butters is at $41. He's going to have he has to have a big last month and a bit if he's to win it, unless if he somehow miraculously steals a vote last night. But Ed Richards, Morgs, at $67, I just love goal-kicking mids. Look, I'm sure the votes are going to go to Norton, Darcy, and then Bond last night. But Ed Richards had another, 24 and 2 on the year, so he's averaging 26.1 and 0.9 goals a game. So almost 26 and 1 a game, which is crazy. He's had such a good, consistent year as far as it goes from a midfielder. He's almost doing, I guess, what Chad did last year. Remember Chad would always get around the 20s, and would always kick a goal or two. That's what Ed's doing, but Ed's been so consistent, pretty much the whole year. What do you have? 24 and 2. 2 weeks before that, 29 and 2. Then he had 2 weeks off where he didn't kick a goal. 27 and 1, 25 and 1, 25 and 1, 28 and 2, 27 and 2, 31 and 1, 30 and 2, 27 and 1, 23 and 1. It just goes all he's had a fucking good year. 100%. But he just hasn't been able to staple those games on big wins against top 8 sides. So they've got a massive month coming up, the Dogs. So I'm actually really excited. I'm going to keep a close eye on them. You can almost put a line through them if they lose next week. If they lose next week, they can't win.
It brings me, I just quickly got it up because I wanted to have a look. So you think of the ladder. So it's Freo on 50, or Freo and GWS and Hawthorn and Geelong, to be fair, on 52 points, which is actually wild. But I just had a look at Freo and the Dogs. The Dogs are on 44 points, 1 game out of the 8 as it stands right now. You get up their schedule. So as you said, Giants next week, Melbourne the week after at the G, West Coast, and then Fremantle.
Yep.
So, I mean, they could easily go 2 and 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
Now you compare it to Gold Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Richmond.
Yep. Win.
At home. Carlton at Marvel. The
Maybe
Giants.
Win. Yep.
The Bombers.
Yeah, it's a win.
And Port.
Okay.
They're a game ahead as it stands with an easier fixture going on. I just think the Dogs are missing.
Yeah, so do I.
For what it's worth, Freo as well, I got it up. They play Carlton at home. Port at Adelaide Oval. Brisbane at home, and then, as we said, the Dogs. So that Freo Dogs game, round 24, might be incredibly interesting.
It might be a win and in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Might be a win and in. So some odds in this one, Morgs. Norton for 7 was at $29. Sam Darcy kicked 6 at $7.50. Riley West kicked 3 at $3.25. Bond kicked 2 at $1.95. Ed Richards for 2 at $3.60, which is crazy. McMahon again kicked 2 at 3.30. Caleb Poulter kicked 1 at $2. Riley Sanders kicked 1 at $1.87. Bond for 35 at 7.50. Merritt had 30 at 2.10. Dylan Sheila had 25 at 3.80. Sam Durham had 25 at 2.50. And Bailey Williams had 25 at $9 as well.
Incredible.
So that was a bit of a cash cow-esque game, as it always is.
Absolutely. Speaking of cash cow, it's a good little segue to the other Friday night game, Darth. I'm almost apologetic that Jev isn't here because I think when the Swans were up by like 35 points, people probably would have been happy that Jev was going away. And then when GWS turned it around, I think a lot of people will be tuning in to hear Jev's sorrows. But we haven't heard from the great man about this. He lost the bet to Toby Green.
Yep.
So I do know that we bought him a GWS kit and got it signed just in case. So he did pack that. So the footage of him in Rome eating dinner with his partner is going to be hilarious. And I can't wait for that. But Dars, one of the all-time comebacks, really, in terms of what it meant for not only the season, as Tobe said last week, these are basically 2 elimination finals. So to beat that, to get that one under the belt, and then you got the Dogs coming up, awesome win. So they win by 44 points in the end. The scoreline is like the canyon that Homer goes into in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
They're down by 35 odd, and then you look at the Worm and they win by 44 points. I don't know. Again, do you want to roast or do you want to celebrate?
Yeah, well, let's road. Like, the season's on the line. Like, the Swans are really starting to come back. Obviously, shout out to Hayden McLean. That knockout in the first 20 seconds wasn't good. Like, he was trying to sit up. You know when their arms are clenched, it's never good.
Not good. No.
And then Aaron Francis came on. He was trying to throw his body around, and the Swans were up for the fight. They were up for the fight, and you think, well, they're up by 35. Let's go. Let's see if we can get a good half. But I don't know what Kingsley said to him at halftime. Probably pointed at them all and said, "You fucking weak pricks." We have to message either Toby or we'll message Finn. We'll see what was said.
Yeah.
But you weak fucking pricks. The second half, Morgs, they outscored the Swans 80-8.
Insane.
The 80-8. That third quarter was just Snooze Bedford kicking him. Himmelberg from outside 50 with a long bomb. Jake Stringer's goal was awesome. Lee Montagna called that so well. He can't get it. It's just
so good.
He had a second to get rid of it. That right foot snap that just almost reversed back in to the middle of the goals. This was a great Giants win. So the question is, so the Giants are currently 6th.
Yep.
And they've got a big game, as we mentioned, against the Dogs. Is Toby going to cost them? Because they've got the Dogs. You know the Dogs are going to come out with absolutely everything.
Yep.
And you need the skipper playing for you. He's their barometer. He throws his weight around. If there's an antagonist from the other side, like Tom Papley, he's happy to be the front man and take the bullets and say on camera he's looking a bit fat. Whether that was premeditated or not, I'm going to try and put this on me a little bit. I'm going to try and rev the boys up a touch. I'm not afraid to keep it behind closed doors. I'm going to put it out there because if they lost, you know that they're going to come at Toby and that looks horrible. But because they won and he played really well, it comes out looking great. The hit on Heaney, so he's going to get a week. So they've got till, I think, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to contest it, whether they're going to say it was careless, high impact. I'm not really sure how they get off. But you know that the Dogs would rather play the Giants without Toby Green.
Of course. I don't know, you don't want to get too in because every man and their dog talks about it, but I just find it really interesting when I look at comments because obviously you want to know what people are talking about. And so many people were like, good, he's a grub. He does it all the time. Give him a week. And then so many other people were like, that's just a fine, but it's because it's Toby. And there's no carryover points anymore, I don't think. They've changed the system.
Yeah, right.
Obviously that used to matter. Now I don't think it matters. It's everyone on its merit. But you look at that and I don't want to hate on Collingwood, but it really fired me up last week when Darcy Moore got off. I don't know if you saw that. Josh Treacy took a mark and Darcy Moore was probably 2 meters off him and he was frustrated. Fair enough. It would have been a frustrating game. And just both knees into his ribs. And didn't do anything, so that's probably why he got off. But you see some of the things that get weeks and then the things that don't, and they talk about on the Matrix's potential to cause harm or something like that. So they can grade it on the fact that it didn't actually cause harm, but it could have. How does Darcy Moore not get anything? I think he got a fine maybe for a double knee in the ribs. And then Tobes, it's not a good look. But as they say, that happens, 100 times a game? I don't know. Where do you think he should have got a week?
Oh, I don't think any of these should get a week.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I think AFL is different, and they always say, like even when players get 50 for swearing or for like running in the protected zone, and like, because it's a bad look for the junior game, but it's not juniors.
No,
This
exactly.
is professional. These guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you give away a little free kick and you're on the mark and you say fuck, and then the umpire gives you 50 meters because it's a bad look for the other game and it's dissent. It's like these guys are playing with like their jobs and like they work all week.
Yeah.
Like you have to give them a bit of leeway. Again, I'm not saying that people should go out and just smack people.
Of course not.
The little thing, I'm like, these guys are pros. I'm like,
And like, how good was that for Sydney? How good was that for Sydney?
Yeah. But even that, I think it like what? If you get caught doing it, it's 50 meters. I think Mark Rashuda, because Kingy was like, it should be more. And Mark Rashuda was like, he barely smacked the fly off his nose. he's like, let him play. Like it's a rivalry. Like I think most of these things guys shouldn't get a week.
Yeah,
like, it's a tough. They're professionals. Like this is what they play.
And I know like Kingy gets fired up about it filtering down to the local levels. Like that I'll buy because they're adults, and I think that is right. You see stuff. We all watch footy. Like we're spending an hour talking about it, but stuff like that filters down to local footy. But we don't need the AFL to parent our kids. I don't have kids yet, but I will. And I don't need. I can explain to my child that you don't swear like that. Do you know what I mean? Like as you're saying about swearing to the umpire. So I don't know. Just that was like a perfect game for building footy in Sydney. And then we've got this awesome game Friday night. And you look at some of the things that got off. Paddy Cripps won a Brownlow due to a lawyer and a typo. Do you know what I mean? Like if they wanted to, they could have given it a fine, just like they did Darcy Moore. No one would have said anything about it. He would have paid the fine. And now we've got Tobes against the Dogs next week. I mean, they don't help themselves.
Yeah, I really hope that they. Yeah, exactly. And they want the stars playing in the biggest games.
Yep.
And then they might just potentially miss out on one of the best. Again, Bond versus Toby Green every time. It's an absolute belter. But we'll quickly touch on Finn Callahan came out, started second half. That goal, I hope it wins goal of the year. He was running like a man, 8 touches in the third quarter and really ripped the game open. His ability, his ball carrying ability and burst of speed. Again, I know everyone says Darcy Jones is probably the quickest at the Giants, if not the AFL. But there's something about footy speed. I felt like, you know, some people that were really quick, but when they got the ball, like they just couldn't move with it really well. But Finn's like, he might not come across as the quickest. He would be one of the quickest with ball in hand in the AFL. He just bursts away from players. So, and that's why him and Tom Green usually wax on together so well. Tom can get it from the inside, and then Finn can take it from the outside. But his ball kicking ability, he's an 80-meter player. He can carry the ball 50 or 40, 50 meters, and then he'll kick you another 40, 50 meters.
That's a great call.
He's awesome. I know that equals 100. Yeah, let's say he's a 100-meter player. 100-meter Finn.
I wasn't going to pull you up.
I meant to say you could run 30, kick you 50. So, 100-meter Finnegan. So he won the medal. Odds in this one. Jakey Stringer for 3 was $5. Cameron for 3 was $3.25. Hayward for 3 was $5.25. Snooze Bedford for 2 was $8.50. Oscar McInerney. No. Grundy for 1 was $3.40. Mills for 1 was $4.50. Finn for 1 was $2.85. Himmelberg for 1 was $4. Lockie Ash for 1 was $5. His goal was awesome as well from outside 50. Tom Green for 1 was $3. Goulden for 30 was $4. Lloyd for 25 was $4.10, and Angwin for 25 was $9.50. I can't wait to hear the people when I was saying he's an 80-meter player, and knowing that added up, they're like, I'm not sure you got that one right. So I'm glad I corrected myself.
Their car.
Yeah, glad I corrected myself before that.
The 285 for Finn 1 is incredibly juicy because I know he's kicked 2 out of the last 3. He's kicked 1. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention, I forgot to, Dan Curtin. So I think he kicked 2 points last night. So his price is going up
Next week.
and he's back in the multi. That is a must.
Nice.
I don't know who they're playing next week, but that's a must. The Swans, the season's done.
Bad luck.
Just started too slow. It is what it is. Final game of this section. So we left it till last because, and I tell you why I did this, Das. This is on the AFL, to be honest. And because people are sick of hearing about the Blues, and that's fair enough. The only reason we keep hearing about it is they keep playing these Thursday, Friday night games. Mm-hmm. And you started the roast talking about the Blues, I reckon, 7 out of the last 9 weeks. So we pushed it back. But you were there. Celebrate Doc's last game. That was awesome. What did you see? Do you want to, celebrate Doc, roast the Blues, celebrate the Hawks?
Well, I just want to say, so the air was sucked out of the building after the first 10 minutes. Like, if you went to go get a pie, take a piss, or grab a few frothies, by the time you sat down after the bounce, it was 25-0.
Yep.
That was it. The game was over. So I was sitting there, I'm just like, this stinks. It was freezing at the G. The game had no life to it. I think there was 51,000 fans. People left at like halftime, three-quarter time. But majority of Carlton supporters did hang around for Doc. And that was awesome. He kicked the goal at our end, and every single person stood up and was clapping. It was awesome. The bow was an awesome gesture. And then he had a shot 2 minutes later as well, which would have brought the house down as well. Would have kicked two in like 2 minutes. I just want to say, where Carlton are at the moment, I've got a photo on my phone. And there was a goal behind play. Blake Acres was on the ground. There was like in towards our back pocket. There was no other Carlton players in the 50. Blake Acres was like winded on the ground. There were 7 Hawks players standing over him, talking shit, and not one Carlton player came over.
Yep.
Like, I've got a photo on my phone. Like, that's just where we're at. Yep. So I want to say Adam Sard had one of the all-time mares. So he got lined up against the Wiz. He got ran from pillar to post. I know people don't get to see it a lot when you're on the screen because you can only see a certain amount, but actually watching Nick Watson live, and I'm not trying to just juice him up because I love him, but his running ability, he's so fast. Yep. He's so quick, and players don't want to go with him. Players do not want to go with him. I wish that we got the footage, like the behind the camera footage, so we can actually see like his running patterns, or hopefully they talk about it on First Crack, because he was unbelievable to watch. He just gets to the spots and his working ability where he'll go up the chain and not one Carlton player will check him. And Sard just kept sitting back behind asking for these little cheap fucking switch kicks. And then, he just zero impact on the game. Yep. No, like none. When we would win the ball back off the half back line, you see we look up and there is nothing ahead of the ball. No one's running. It's like we're getting 17 players to the contest and not one person is spreading. So like everyone looked like they're checked out. I think Chera tried to run out the game pretty well. Cole Shadir is going to be fucking awesome. So I think 100%. I think the Hawks are in a really good spot here with Mitch Lewis, whether they continue on with him, which you think that they will, but if he doesn't, they're probably going to get top dollar for him on the market, whether they keep the Charles Royce. Gunston's probably only got another year or two to go max. Yep. So they're a bit spoiled for choice up forward, but Colsha his ability to win the ball in the air is something that you have to look at. Like Buddy wasn't the best overhead mark. So he was able to do his best work guarding space. Most of his marks were chest marks. Mm-hmm. But if you've got that ability to fly up in the air, like there's a big pack and you just see him just tower over people, he got on Doc's nose. Fucking poor Doc. Got put on a poster in his last game. He meets the ball at the highest point. So having that athleticism is a point of difference. Being able to just kick a ball down there in your forward line and say, go fetch. And just these guys that can do it, because not everyone can. So he's going to be anything. So Scrimshaw dominated us. Fucking their whole back line dominated us. Sicily got brought into form. He was like a surgeon from the half-back line. We were absolutely dog shit. What else can I say? Will White, he's probably my favourite small of all time.
Just out of curiosity, what about Jackie Scrimshaw stuck out to you?
Scrimshaw? Mate, he was awesome off the half-back.
He had 15 touches.
He was taking mark, mate. He was a cover. There was that many times Scrimshaw got the ball. I'm like, he's got it again. See, I'm talking about an eye perspective. I didn't even look at the stats then. I was just like, Scrimshaw was just slicing us up. I'm going to go back. I'm going to find the tape on Scrimshaw. No,
not 1 second did I doubt the take. I just wanted to see what stuck out to you at the ground with 15 touches and 64 fantasy.
The amount of times we'd kick it to him and he just had it. And I'm like, Scrimshaw comes up with the trump card again. He just come up with ace jack every time. 21. Thanks for coming.
Just goes to show. I think Luke Parker had 31 last night. You had like 11 turnovers. Jack Scrimshaw's had 15 Thursday night and you've given him 3. It just goes to show.
Close to. Like he was awesome.
That's awesome.
Ollie Hollins needs to find a bit more mongrel in him, I think, Morgs. I think I described him as he's got as much mongrel as a 2-week-old cavoodle. So we need to just make sure that just in the off season, he's eating out of a dog bowl outside. So I want no knives and forks for Ollie Hollands. I want hands out in front, eating out of the bowl with his mouth, just trying to get a little bit more dog in him. But let's talk about Harry O'Farrell, Morgs.
Oh,
Harry O'Farrell, what a man. Few intercepts, coming through, big punches. He took the specky. If that doesn't win the fucking, what does it bounce to? Fucking spoil of the week? What do they call it?
I don't know.
It's a shocking show.
I never get that far.
No, but what do they call bang of the week?
Yeah, the fist. I don't know, golden fist.
Golden fist. That's it. Bang of the week. That's just as good. But he played his best game for the club. I was skeptical. He got into the side. You know why I thought that he actually made the list, Morgs?
This will be good.
We took him at pick 40. So his old man's done our club a lot of favours. His old man's our lawyer.
Yes, that's right.
And then we picked him up with pick 40. I'm like, is this just a favour back? They were like, hey, if I get you boys off, you got to look after me son. But he's holding his own back there. He's holding his own. I'm very happy with him at the club. I think it's going to be exciting coming forward. Did I mention Scrimshaw's game, Morgs?
I can't stop thinking about it. I'm going to have to go back and watch the All 22, get some behind the goals footage.
Scrimshaw lit it up a touch.
I was going to say before, we should message Joey on Insta and say, hey, mate, just letting you know, Wiz's footage from behind the goals would be worth a look at for the crack. I also think we say, can we dive a bit deeper into Jack Scrimshaw's 15? I can't wait to see the footage. It's going to be great.
Do you have anything on the game?
No. I got honestly nothing to add. I'd be wasting your time.
Oh, we were fucking shit.
Thank you, Doc. I think Hawks, they won by 20 points in the end. I know I said I got nothing, but I think that didn't do it justice. It was just they put the cue in the rack and the Blues probably tried to shut it down a bit. But I still think they'll come in fresh to finals. They're one of those sides they can beat anyone. They could lose to anyone.
Well, it just goes to show how good, like Will Day, he came out, he didn't miss a trick.
Unbelievable.
Him from the start, I really hope he can stay fit and firing. Connor McDonald kicked a really good goal. Jack Ginnivan doing the Telstra man. I thought that was pretty funny.
Quick shout out that Will Day started in the guts. Yep. That was so good. Just straight back in.
Yep.
That was on purpose. Mitch just done it again.
Sard's game was subpar with 18.
He started getting called out. Kingy, I heard Kingy on Friday. He was not happy.
Yeah, good. Scrimshaw was awesome, by the way. Guns to kick 3 at 2.25. Colcher Deer for 2 at 2.05. Kerno for 2 at $1.77. He looks like he's done. Mitch Lewis for 2 at $1.77. The Wiz kicked 2. Always does against the Blues. $2. Will White for 2 at $7.50. Well done to the White family. Doc kicked a snag in his last game at 2.20. Dylan Moore for 27. So he had 27, but for 25 was $4.50. George Hewitt was $1.83. No good. Sicily for 25 was $6, and Jarman Impey for 25 at $3.50. I thought coming into the start of the year that maybe he's probably only got a year or two left. He's had a fucking unbelievable year, Jarman Impey. So I think Hawks fans will be so happy with the way he's playing his game.
He had about 20 touches in the first quarter.
Yeah, mate. He kicked 3 goals last week late, 3 goals, 2 against Port. He's a good player. He's a good player.
Quick shout out to on Thursday night or Thursday morning. We thought Morgs Markets was a bit of a car accident.
Yeah.
It felt like it live. You look back, Doc for 1, cashed. And then I said, jump on Jez for 100 and Jez for 90. He comes out, kicks 11, and he only needs 31 goals.
That's awesome. So,
I mean, if you made it through that segment, you're probably a lot richer.
Now, Morgs, I think that does us for the first slate. So we got 2 games we're going to log back on after. Sometimes you think it's like, how the hell do we get through an hour? Well, we've done an hour 7, Morgs, like it's eating breakfast. Nice.
Hey, that's the first half of the roast. An hour 7, you would not read about it. I'll cut most of my stuff out. It's about 1 o'clock, Das. We'll watch these 2 games. We'll jump back on. Hell of a roast. We'll get some footage from Jev too, holding into a pizza in Italy.
Also, if you guys get a chance, go back and watch Scrimshaw's 15. It's
incredible. And a recap for the because we need your help. So your top Marvel games and Port fans, tell us, should Ken Hinkley have gone early or Josh Carr? I want to know it all. Roast us, please.
Come on.
Let's see you in a couple of hours. Welcome back to part 2. We are straight off the siren, Das. Is that not the best fourth quarter you have ever seen in your life from one man?
Well, the thing is, if you are listening to the start from the start of the pod, which I'm assuming everyone is because you're not just going to jump into part 2, but We said we're going to come up with a list of the best games under the lid because, Morgs, you reckon that there's no good games under the lid. So if you're listening to the start knowing exactly what happened now, you're going to be listening to that with a bit of a smile on your face because this is number one, Morgs. I'm putting this at the number one game at the Dome of all time. 46 points down at three-quarter time. An absolute dogging. Is there anything you want to add before we get into the game?
Well, in defense of my take, it was an unbelievable fourth quarter. The game until like 10 minutes ago in the third was a doggy's breakfast. And that's my point. It wasn't a fourth quarter performance from Marvel.
A four-quarter performance.
But let's not take away from, we can talk about that another time.
All right, well, let's get into the first thing. So I want to say the dogging that happened, Morgs, I'm not sure if you remember round 2 or round 3, Melbourne versus North Melbourne. Clayton Oliver was having an all-time game. An all-time game. I think he had close to 30 touches, 1 million clearances. Got to three-quarter time, which is usually when you have your break. Am I correct in saying that or not?
I would have thought so.
Okay, so then you keep Clary on the bench. And then North come out and have 8 clearances in a row, kick 5 goals in fucking 3 minutes. So that's on the coaching box. So the fact that you let Cozzy Pickett come off with 5 minutes to go and then you're unable to get him back on the ground because A, you think it's too risky if you let him off, then you're one man down. And 2, you're just letting him run riot. So he's obviously your most important player, your best ball user. So you can't get him on. That's a coaching mishap. And then also Clayton Oliver will absolutely be kicking himself. There's 90 seconds to go. You just have to make it a 2-score game. And he's hit the belly of it. He's put it across the other side of the ground out on the full. It just felt with 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, you go, this might just turn the Saints' way. Little balls just weren't getting knocked through. They were staying in. The Saints were keeping the ball alive. This game had it all, like in the last quarter. Yep. You were just watching, and then when they kicked 3 or 4 in a row, you're like, fuck. Then they got the 50-metre. Jack Higgins, the way he runs in, he's hugging the crowd. Mason Wood, your man, was getting on the end of a few. Hit up Nas. I think it was the call from, I think it was Dermy or Nick Del Santo. They were, yeah, Nas is actually at full forward right now. 2 seconds later, if you listen to the Fox commentary, it just sits perfectly on his head, goes through and slots it. And then that set play, I'm not sure if anyone listened to the press after the game. This is obviously only from Fox Footy, but when he was chatting to Ben Dixon, the Gooch, mind you, who's been absolutely everywhere this week, Morgs. He was chatting to Rowan Marshall. He's like, when you get the ball, when the play starts, almost like a wide receiver, I'm running to the left. Yep. Just find me. And it was almost like a little curl. It was just like he ran deep, put the foot in the dirt, turned back around, and he just got the shallow route.
And it was wide open. That like... Surely you just follow him.
It's a perfect route. You run deep. It's like you're running a go route. You sprint. They're running with you because they think that you're going to get deep, and then bang, just put your foot in the dirt, come back straight back to the quarterback, and it was just a pretty little ball. You just had to have someone running with Nas at that stage. The only man that was going to get that ball or kick the ball was going to be Nas. This is a whole team blunder, especially when they're like 6-6-6. Everyone has to come back. Someone just scope Nas. Just have 2 on him.
I couldn't agree more, and I love what you talked about. You hear so much about a Ross masterclass, and he's done a yearly masterclass all the way to, what are they on the ladder, 4th or 5th. So you can't say it's been a successful season for Roscoe. However, it's incredibly ballsy to have Nas starting at full forward. So when he took that mark, it would be so easy as a coach. You just go, I just want Nas in the guts. I just want him around the ball because we need to get it down there. That was so ballsy to have him at full forward because when he took that mark, he was the only player on that ground that was going to take that mark. That was unbelievable. And as I said, to start him, like we talk about Charlie Conlon at forward last night, that just probably wasn't the move. But to have Nas, your best player, and just back your blokes to get it down to him and then to take that grab, that I was just like, Roscoe's done it again.
So do you mean in that last little play?
When he took the hanger,
when
he took the hanger coming back, which that was a better goal because that was the goal he had to kick. There was less pressure on the second goal because he just had to score a point. Yeah. But to take that hanger and start at full forward, to have your best player starting full forward was ballsy.
No, I think after he went into the middle and then they gave away the free kick. And then
he did. He did, but it was the one before that in open play after Clary kicked that point.
How good's that? It's just knowing with your best players, if the ball gets there, that's exactly where we want it to be. We want it to be like sometimes I think Dacos, you put him down there. You put Jordan Dawson down there. You put your best players where the ball's going to be. A lot of time, whether it's worked or not, Melbourne have done it with Petrarca. We said that's where we sort of criticised Melbourne against the Giants in round 2. So they went into the middle and they had to win that stoppage. Finn and Toby end up running it out the other way. And they're like, why wasn't Petrarca in there? Because they put in a full forward because they're like, well, if it goes forward, we want our best player there. So good from Ross, just like, well, he probably needs a rest. He's been running his ass off. Let's just put him there for a little bit. Let's hope we can get it down to him. But it's so good on the Saints knowing that he is there, try and kick it to his advantage, his athleticism. He sat over the top of Bailey Fritsch, who actually eyed the ball in pretty well, but he just had the perfect sit, went back and just went bang, bang. And I can't get over how much better that last goal was that he actually slotted it. Like, a point would have been awesome, like, as long as it left the boot. But the fact that he's gone through and absolutely hosed it was perfect. Now, it just makes you think, and Jed was first to say this to us, he's like, whatever that contract is worth, well, obviously it's worth more now. If they get Coney in, obviously they did want to pay Finn, so they've got the money. I don't think that Nas will leave now. Like, you can't leave now, can you?
I just think, like, it's easy to, like, if they have another 3 really bad losses, like, we'll obviously never forget this fourth quarter, but if they have another 3 bad losses, you're sort of going to go back to, like, you know what? You can't blame him for wanting to leave. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a bit prisoner of the moment to say, like, you can't leave now. Like, he'll enjoy it and all that, but I think if he goes to Adelaide, as I said, after a pretty poor way to finish, where they finished on the ladder, I still feel like he can leave, if that makes sense.
I think he's staying. And that's what we're always crying. That's what they're always crying out. It's like they need an extra midfielder. Well, you put him and Sinclair in the middle. They're your 2 midfielders. Try and get someone else and you get a couple other young guys to play off the half back line. I think, well, either way, it looks like that they're getting Coney. It's like there's been a verbal agreement. So they get him, whether Marshall can play more forward. If they do get King back in somewhat playing some good footy, it's exciting if the young 2 kids come on. That was a cracking game. And we did, if you listen to the start of the pod, it's been a shit year for footy. There's been none of these good games. And this was awesome to sit there on a Sunday and just be like, fucking oath.
We deserve that.
Yes, we did as a fan base. We 100% deserve that. So
I do think like it's sort of been said all year about Nas and like they cannot lose that man. And I just think today probably enhanced that even more. Like how backbreaking that will be if they're to lose him. Because you can overpay to get people in. They tried with Finn and they sort of gave him the farm, but he said no. They've offered the farm to TDK, who I was there, Carlton St Kilda, Rowan Marshall beat him that night. So I know TDK's ceiling's a lot higher, but if you're talking about, trying to build a team, to bring blokes in with money, that's one thing. But to keep a guy like Nas, who is however high on the pyramid you want him to be, maybe at the top after tonight, that will be crushing if they lose him, and they just have to keep him, whatever they've got to do.
Well, especially because, they've put so much time into him and the fan base has gotten around him so much. It's just, I can't see him leaving. I actually can't.
I hope you're right. I was
messaging Bally. So he messaged me earlier in the game. He's like, oh boy. And that was at 5:19. And I just messaged him just before because we all know that Bally, our friend at St Kilda, asked that maybe the best thing I've ever seen. Of course, it was Nas. That's it. Yeah. I asked him to give me a voice memo. He just can't. He's just like, I was like,
he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's there.
He was at the igloo.
He was there with his mum, Jules. Shout out to Jules, and
she'll be listening. No, actually,
sorry. His first message at 5:19, I hadn't even said anything to him. I haven't even messaged him today. He just said he deserves better. That's the first thing he sends me at 5:19.
I love it.
He deserves better.
Right. We don't want to harp because I'm keen to stay positive here, but Melbourne. What's going on at Melbourne?
Well, it's hard to say. Like a few of their young kids, like mind you, everything was good until it wasn't.
Yep.
So you could take so many good things out of this. Bailey Fritsch's first half of the game was really good. Petrarca was getting his hands on it. Cozzy Pickett seemed to be running around doing like whatever he wanted to at the start of the game. Max Gawn was putting on smothers, pressure around the ground consistently, especially in the last 3 minutes. When they kicked it down the ground, it was Marshall and Gawn marked it. It's like, just don't fucking kick it to Max. And it just seemed like they were going to get it done. Xavier Lindsay, one of the young kids, kicked his first goal in AFL. Actually kicked 2 goals, one. Could have kicked 3. Went back for another set shot. Cade Chandler played pretty well. Like, it was there for most of the game. Like, they actually weren't, like, it just looked like they were going to get a 30-point win. That's exactly what it looked like. They're up by 46. They're probably going to win by 30. No one really wins out of this. But this sort of win for St Kilda, coming into next year and the year after, it just shows a little bit of belief. If you've got the biggest comeback at three-quarter time in VFL, AFL history, there is something in that group that for this year, for next year, as long as you played in that game, you've got a bit of belief going forward in every single game. If you're down at halftime, it's like, hey, we've been here before. So
great call.
This just for the club, it almost ages you another year going forward. It's like you've given everyone, instead of another 50 games experience, you've given them the greatest comeback of all time, which is almost worth a whole year worth of experience or extra 50 games. So fucking awesome. Yeah, the D's, I'm not sure you even review that game.
I kind of agree as well. Two teams that can't make finals. It'd be different if they were sort of in the hunt for the 8. I think that'd be a different result. I think you could have easily seen that where Melbourne were down by sort of, maybe not the record that it was, but down by 30 points. They're the ones coming with some momentum, and the Saints are the one that probably let it come back. So, I mean, if you're a Melbourne supporter, I've seen a couple of things on social media already. They're down and out, the boys, which is fair enough if you're a D's fan, but I don't think there's too much to look into that. I think you just celebrate the Saints in that win. As I said, two teams that can't make finals, and you just move on.
So Jev sent us before because he absolutely loves Nas. So I think he's averaging 30 for the year. He's gone under 25 once or twice, maybe twice. I think he's kicked 15 goals from the half-back line. They probably don't win enough games, but he's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth favourite to win the Brownlow at $51.
I can't see it. I'd love to think he could.
So him and Zach Butters are both out at $51 at the moment.
Yeah, it's fun.
If you were to have a swing on a Hail Mary on one of those two, who would you take?
I still think Butters. That doesn't mean he's a better player or he's had a better year, but I think Brownlow-wise, maybe I haven't seen enough Saints games. So Saints fans, if you think Nas had way more votes than Butters, let us know. But I think I'd have to take Butters going to my head.
Yeah, I'd have to see a year of voting for Nas first. So this is his first real big year. Let's see how the umpires vote. Because
I do think he's going to stand out.
100%.
Even when that one, I think there was there's probably 8 minutes to go in the fourth. So he had the kick out, then he got the handball receive, then he got another one, and then kicked it long into the 50. And that was before, obviously, the 2 goals. And I was just like, he is unbelievable. And he sticks out. He's got that, as you said about Finn Callaghan. Like, I mean, I'm sure Nas is quick, but his explosion is what just comes off the screen. So, yeah, it's a great call. I can't wait to see how he polls because he looks like a player that stands out.
That'd be a great post if you had to have a Hail Mary, $1,000 or $100 on one of these smokies. Who you taking, Butters or Nas? Both at $51. So I think a lot of people after tonight, there's going to be a fair bit of money coming in for Nas. But do we have any odds on this one? No, probably don't because we're recording this straight after the game.
Yeah, so we come straight in. We'll save it for Gold Rush on Thursday morning or Tuesday night for us. But yeah, you'll hear the best odds. The bets you weren't on but wish you were.
Nice.
Powered by StatMate, of course. Das, the last game that we're going to talk about of the round, Richmond, Collingwood. Richmond actually had a crack. So
They did. Now, there's
final
no
score,
better...
Sorry, Das. 93-57 was the final score.
Yeah, so there's no supporter base apart from the ones in the top 8 that would be happier than the Tigers. Like, they still show out... All the young guys are coming in. Like, what did you say they end up losing by? 36 points. So they were competitive. The second half, the Pies really went to run out with it. But tell you what, there's one man that is still on top of the pyramid for a reason, and that is Nick Dacos. He is unbelievable. He actually is. Like, the goal that he kicked, I'm not sure if you saw the third goal on his left foot.
Yep.
His other goal in the middle where he had it. And he just shimmied out Tom Brown and just kicked one from 50. His ability to get the ball, like if he needs it, in like 4 minutes, he can go get you 7 touches. Like he'll just get himself, and no one goes with him.
No, well they can't.
No, it's actually wild. Like he's so fit. His ball use is absolutely like tier 1, elite, like whatever you want to say. And I just think you drop him in. I know that everyone says, he doesn't have any tackles or doesn't get any contested ball, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, When you have a player like that, don't waste his energy on trying to go in and just belt everyone. Like that's what his other teammates for, and that's why it's a team game. Like Fly's got the best out of the rest of the team to allow him to play the way that he wants to play. And
Sure.
I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck about how many comments he gets about contested marks or tackles.
He wouldn't see him.
He's going out having how many score involvements? So he had 42 disposals, 31 kicks. So if you don't want Nick to damage you, let him get more handballs than kicks. If he's having 31 kicks in a game, I doubt that you're going to be winning that game of football.
It felt like the Tigers were like, if we do tag, what are we really going to, like, what's going to be the effect of the tag? So is it worth taking one of our blokes out to purely tag? And like, as I said, to be honest, it kind of worked for 3/4. I mean, you look at who Richmond are, who Collingwood are, and then obviously the Pies kicked away. But one thing I did think was I saw Tim Embry at the end and he's like, if he's calling for the ball, you just have to give it to him.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought about it. And you could, if you're a hater, you could say it's sort of stat padding, but you want the ball in his hands at every opportunity.
Yeah.
So even if it is that switch kick, it's a little 15 meters and it's like, it hasn't achieved anything, but now the ball's in his hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what's important. So, yeah, it made me think of it so differently. Like, you could say stat padding, but it's just generally every time, if I was a Collingwood fan, I would just want the ball in his hands as many times a game as possible.
Well, he's the best distributor on the team. So it's like, if you I always just bring it back to an NBA side or NFL. If you had the ball and everyone can throw it forward, every single time you get it, you're going to give it back to your quarterback because he can throw it the best. Definitely. If you only can shoot from outside the arc in the NBA, if you got Steph Curry on your team, 95% of the time, 99% of the time, you're going to try and give him the ball because he's more likely to hit the target or actually put it in the hoop. But the only thing with the tag though, which me and Jev were discussing the other week, I actually don't mind if you have a designated tagger. So you look at Marcus Windhager's last month, like he had 36 disposals last week. And is there a better apprenticeship you can have? Like what? I know he only had the 20-odd disposals today, but he's 22 years old, Marcus Windhager. Has he not done the best apprenticeship of all time of learning how to become a midfielder and how to get to the right spots? Every week he's tagging the best opposition. Yep. Whether he goes to Tom Green, whether he goes to Nick Dacos. You are literally learning over 50 games, A, how hard you have to run, B, how to work yourself out of stoppage, and like the best spots to get to on the ground. And that's why you look at Marcus Windhager last week when he didn't have to tag anyone. He had 36 disposals. I'm like, fuck, he actually looks like an unbelievable midfielder. So if you've got a guy coming through that actually has a bit of skill and actually wants to learn, it's the best spot to play. You just like, and at the end of the day, you're more likely than not expected to get beaten. But every now and then, if you take a scalp, it's like, oh my God, like this guy can actually do the work as well. So I think if there's teams on the bottom and you've got some young guys or whether you don't know where to play them, it's the best apprenticeship to play in the AFL. Go play on the best player. If you get beaten, so what? I think everyone's expecting you to get beaten, but you actually learn how to be an AFL midfielder. So
no, that's a great call.
And as we said, like with the midfielders coming through with the Saints, if Sinclair can play more midfield, if Marcus Windhager can become that, whether off-ball midfielder or if they have to turn him back into a tagger, and then you got Windhager and then you got Tom DeConing giving silver service, like the Saints, that all of a sudden seems exciting. Then obviously McRae's still there. I know he's a little bit older, but he can get the ball. Once he goes out, maybe you get another first-round pick or like you eventually get a good draft pick. It's all of a sudden the Saints seem like somewhere you actually might want to go play. So especially for like the younger guys like Max Hall and stuff that are running through. I know we've switched back over games, but there's a bit of optimism with the Saints, I feel. There's just a little bit there.
And as you said, same with the Tigers. Like 3 weeks ago, I think I said I'd rather be a Tigers fan than a Blues fan. Like at least you can see the future at Richmond. So to have the success that they've had, you've got to bank on that, and then you sort of bake that into your thoughts now. And it's like, well, we had our 3 flags, but to be where they're at and to have the clean out that they have, the amount of talent they've got on their list, and as I said, you can see it in the next couple of years. It must be bloody exciting to be a Tigers fan and maybe a Saints fan, as you said, Das, after the back of today.
Well, I'm looking at the Tigers up forward. Big Jonty Fall. So for some reason, when I look at him on the TV screen, I know that he plays key position forward, but he doesn't come across as strikingly big. I mean, I know he's 195 centimeters, but maybe he just needs to fill out a touch, so then he looks like the mammoth. But all year, he's looked very good. He took a really nice one-handed grab today. He guards space really well. He's got a great set of hands overhead. Once he gets his... I think, and this is why we want Tom Lynch to hang around, especially for the young guys. He can almost take the bullet for him in the games in which they're actually trying to develop. But actually learning off, because he's got so much cunt in him. He does.
Yeah.
And if these young guys can actually learn how to put that into their game as well, it's just going to fast track them so much more. But you got the guys like Steely Green, Taj Houghton kicked another couple goals today. Noel Bolter's in and out of the side, so you can't really talk about how well he's going. But yeah, they really pushed it to him. But the the Pies, they're just ticking the box. Exactly all they had to do today.
100%. Rested Pendles. No worries.
Well, we thought this was going to be the game that they rest Nick, so they're obviously not resting Nick for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, it's as you said on the roast a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it is that Brownlow discussion coming in. I don't know. But you know what, though? They're deep enough. Like, they'll get the week off. We've got the finals by now.
You know what I think? You're going to get criticised either way. Can you imagine if Nick missed this game, comes back next week and then injures himself, and then you're like, oh, why mess with form? And can you imagine if he says, hey, Fly, I'm 95%, I'm good.
Yep. Yeah,
I just want to keep playing. Like, what are you going to tell him? No.
And as we said on the show, like, you'd almost rather, like, play him, but play him strategically. Like, spend 50% down forward and go and kick 4. Have 15. Like, don't run the 18 Ks. Like, play 4. Like, so we are managing you in a way, but yeah, let's keep the routine. Throw the boots on once a week. Any odds in this game?
Yeah, I do. So it's amazing how short Nick Dacos is. So he had 42 touches. For 40 touches, he was only 550.
Far out.
Which is short. Then for a midfielder to kick 3, he was $9. Like, that's still short.
Yeah. 100%.
For a midfielder to kick 3 goals was $9. As I said, for 40 was $5.50. Steely Green for 2 was $5.75. Taj Houghton for 2 was $5.75. Will Hoskin-Elliott for 2, the wild thing, $3.90. Jacob Hopper had a bit of an injury scare, but he came back on for 30 was $3.40. Josh Dacos, same thing, short for 30 was $1.87. But Tyler Sonzi had 25. He was $12, which is huge.
Sons, love it. Just what is it? It's currently just nearly 7 o'clock. I'm looking forward to throwing first crack on and seeing their analysis of Jack Scrimshaw. I'm sure we all are.
I cannot wait. If he doesn't get mentioned, that's on them.
That was our first roast together, Das. That was a banger. A banger.
An hour 40.
An hour 40. Not too bad. Probably too long. Roast us, as Jeff would always say. Roast us. We want to hear, where have we gone wrong? What do you disagree with? Jeff would have gone strong in a lot of other areas, so I'll sharpen up my takes for next week. As we said, we're going to be spending a lot of time together over the next month. So we're shaking it up on the pod a little bit more discussion. Send us in your top 5, top 3 best Marvel games ever. Send in your best futures bets for Futures Furnace. That is coming up. And do not miss the brand new segment, How to Win Cash Regardless.
Yes.
And that is something I'm really excited for. Das, I've already put the music on. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, because we're going to be spending a bit more time together. Am I going to move into yours or are you going to move into mine?
I'm not sure. You're here enough that you could probably just buy a pillow and call it ours.
Beautiful.
Thanks for coming. Thanks to PointsBet. You've done it again.
Well done, lads.
What are you prepared to lose today? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.